Hey players, welcome back to KT Gaming, your go-to channel for everything gaming and tech. Today I have some surprising and, to be honest, quite disappointing news about Spider-Man 2. Insomniac Games just recently announced that the game won't be receiving any post-launch DLC content, leaving many fans feeling frustrated. I'll be breaking down the announcement, talk about how the community is reacting to the news, and discuss what this means for the future of the Spider-Man franchise. Before I jump into it, I want to give a shout out to the sources I used for today's video: the PlayStation blog, IGN, Game Rant, and Gaming Bible. So, let's swing right into it. Now let me start with the big news. On the PlayStation blog, the post was about Marvel Spider-Man 2 arriving on PC on January of 2025. Insomniac Games has officially confirmed in that blog that Spider-Man 2 will not be receiving any DLC expansions. This announcement has left many fans shocked, especially since Insomniac Spider-Man games have historically had strong post-launch support. Spider-Man 2018, for example, gave us the City That Never Sleeps DLC trilogy, which expanded the story and gave us exciting new characters. Naturally, the fans expected Spider-Man 2 to follow the same pattern, but Insomniac has decided to go in a different direction. In the blog post, Insomniac explained that they aimed to deliver a complete and fulfilling story experience with Spider-Man 2, and that they believe that they have achieved this goal. They mentioned that the game is already a self-contained narrative, and that there was nothing they felt that need to add. However, they did leave a small teaser hinting that more exciting projects are in the works. For now though, Spider-Man 2 won't be getting any DLC. The news is particularly shocking because fans were eagerly anticipating post-launch content. Many fans were hoping for new missions, characters, and additional suits to be introduced as DLC, just like in previous games. There were even speculations that the story could dive deeper into side plots, like Miles Morales' future, or the involvement of new villains, like Carnage or even the Chameleon. Interestingly, Game Rant pointed out something worth mentioning. Last December, there was a cyber attack that leaked potential plans for Spider-Man 2 DLC. According to those leaks, there were supposedly 3 story-based DLCs in development for the game. Game Rant said it best. Most of all though, you're wondering why Insomniac decided to scrap the 3 Spider-Man 2 story DLCs leaked in last December's cyber attack. Perhaps those plans were outdated, or the data breach may have compelled Insomniac to change its post-launch strategy for Spider-Man 2. This has left fans puzzled, as they now wonder what could have caused Insomniac to pivot so drastically. Now let's address the fan reaction, because it hasn't been pretty. IGN and Game Rant both highlighted just how disappointed the community is with this announcement. Across social media platforms like Twitter, Reddit, and TikTok, fans have expressed their frustration, calling it a missed opportunity. Many were counting on the DLC to continue building on the world of Spider-Man 2, adding new content that would keep the game fresh for months or even years after launch. Fans also pointed out how certain storylines felt like they were left unresolved, making the absence for any DLC even more disappointing. Miles Morales' story in particular seemed to be ripe for further exploration, and many players expected a DLC centered around his growth as Spider-Man. With no DLC on the horizon, it's left some feeling like there's a gap in the narrative. Gaming Bible even conducted a survey, and the results were telling. Fans feel quote-unquote left hanging by the sudden decision not to release any expansions. Many were emotionally invested in the game and were eagerly awaiting more content to enhance their experience. Now, that excitement has turned into frustration. So what does this mean for the future of the Spider-Man franchise? It is clear that Insomniac is not abandoning the Spider-Man universe, as they hinted at future projects. However, the lack of DLC support for Spider-Man 2 might indicate that Insomniac is looking ahead to something bigger, whether that's a spin-off game or an entirely new project. Some speculate that Insomniac may be pouring all its resources into its upcoming Wolverine game, which is set to be another major release. The PlayStation blog mentioned that Insomniac is known for keeping fans on their toes, so there's still hope that something exciting is on the way. But for now, the decision to not extend Spider-Man 2 through DLC could signify a shift in how the studio handles post-launch content. Instead of adding smaller updates, they may be focusing on delivering bigger, standalone titles in the future. It's worth discussing why Insomniac made this decision. Some fans believe that the developers simply didn't have enough time or resources to work on DLC, given their involvement in other projects. Others speculate that the cyber attack and the subsequent leaks may have forced Insomniac to reconsider its post-launch plans for Spider-Man 2. GameRant's theory about the data breach potentially shifting their strategy makes a lot of sense. If those leaked plans were outdated, Insomniac may have chosen to pivot and focus their attention elsewhere. On the other hand, there are a few players who support this decision. A small section of the community on Reddit mentioned that they are glad Insomniac chose not to release DLC just for the sake of it. They believe that it is better to leave the game as complete, finished product rather than artificially extending its life with additional content that might not feel necessary. However, this opinion seems to be in the minority. The overwhelming majority of players are unhappy with the news, and many feel like they've been shortchanged. With no DLC to look forward to, players who purchase special editions or paid extra for premium content, like me, feel like they're missing out on something they were expecting. So what's next for Spider-Man 2? It looks like the game will remain as it is, a standalone experience with no DLC to expand its story or gameplay. While many fans are disappointed, we can only hope that Insomniac's future projects will be just as groundbreaking as Spider-Man 2 was. Whether it's the new Wolverine game or something else entirely, the studio has a bright future ahead for sure. Now players, what do you think about Insomniac's decision? Do you agree with their choice to forego DLC? Or do you feel like the game needed more content? Let me know all of your thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section. And as always players, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more updates on all things Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2, gaming, and tech. Now players, I'm honestly kind of frustrated that we didn't get DLC because there are so many ways they could have went about the DLC, whether it's with Silk. At the end of the game they revealed her. They could have went with Chameleon with that storyline, Carnage. They could have done so much with the DLCs, but they chose not to. I feel like they could have finished the game, the whole Spider-Man series with 4 more DLCs, when with Goblin, however they plan to do that, the G Serum at the end of the game, Norman, Silk. They could have covered that all in 4 DLCs like Spider-Man 2018 did. Now that game felt like a finished game, alright. But players, I always felt like the Venom parts, once Peter got Venom, that's when the game got rushed. Because we only got 3-4 missions with Venom as Peter. That's kind of bad. And they rushed the whole Harry and Venom thing. They didn't give that time to develop. It was just boom, we have Venom, take over the world now, you know? They didn't give that story to develop for then to be a final battle. But players, just let me know what you think down below. I honestly thought that there should have been at least 1 DLC, maybe even 2. And I feel bad for those people that paid for the statue version of the game, $239 just to get a statue, art, and the base game and some other things with only 10 hours of content with platinum included. That's kind of crazy. And no DLC. I know they're punching the air right now, man. And I bought the premium edition. I'm like, dang, I could have just bought the standard edition and be done with it, because it's only 1 base game, not even a DLC. But I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think down below. I'm honestly frustrated that it didn't happen, but let's see what else they have planned. Hopefully it makes up for this. So players, until next time, peace out.